The sea had taken everything from me. Or so I thought. I started noticing things about our little houseboat, cold spots that wouldn't warm. Grief turned to rage. The locals whispered stories about her, about a hidden cove just past Black Rock Point, where she was sometimes seen. They called me crazy. Maybe I was, but I loaded up our small dinghy, grabbed the amulet, and my only remaining companion, my scrappy ginger cat, Marmalade. I didn't have a plan, I just had a destination. The cove was eerily silent, the water a perfect, still turquoise. It felt ancient. With a trembling hand, I held the amulet over the water. Marmalade, perched on the bow like a furry figurehead, let out a low hiss. I whispered the incantation from the journal, my voice cracking. What was taken by the sea, I summoned now to come to me. For a moment, nothing. Then, the water began to churn. Bubbles rose to the surface, and from the depths, she emerged. She was exactly as the journal described, breathtakingly beautiful, with eyes the color of a stormy sea, and long dark hair that floated around her like seaweed. Her gaze locked onto the amulet in my hand. "You have something of mine," she said, her voice like the pull of the tide. "You have something of mine," I screamed back, the grief and anger boiling over. "This curse." Her beautiful face twisted into a sneer. "He was a sailor. The sea always claims what is hers." In a flash, she lunged, her hand, cold and slick, wrapped around my wrist. The dinghy rocked violently. She was impossibly strong, and with a vicious tug, she ripped the amulet from my grasp, sending me sprawling backward. She held it up, a triumphant glint in her eye. "Foolish mortal." It was over. I had failed. I had come all this way just to give her back the source of her power. But as she turned, a flash of ginger fur shot through the air. Marmalade, my quiet, sleepy cat, launched himself from the bow, claws extended. He latched onto her arm, hissing and spitting like a demon. The witch shrieked in surprise and pain, dropping the amulet. It clattered onto the floor of the dinghy. I didn't hesitate. I scrambled for it, my fingers closing around the cold shell. The witch swiped at Marmalade, sending him flying back into the boat. But the distraction was all I needed. I grabbed the small anchor we used for the dinghy. With a guttural scream that tore from the very depths of my soul, I brought it down on the amulet. Crack! It shattered into 1,000 iridescent pieces. The sea witch let out a horrifying wail, a sound that wasn't human. The calm water of the cove suddenly erupted into a violent whirlpool, sucking her down into its vortex. Her face, contorted in agony, was the last thing I saw before she was swallowed by the sea. And then, silence. The water stilled. The air, which had been heavy and cold, suddenly felt light. A warm breeze, the first I'd felt in months, rustled my hair. On the houseboat, I knew the cold spots would be gone. I scooped up a shaken but proud Marmalade, burying my face in his fur. The curse was broken.